Holy cow! Man, I really underestimated Captain America Civil War. I gotta say, upon watching this movie for a second time, it may be one of my second or third favorite movies in the entire MCU, and I may like it better than all of the Avengers movies, including Infinity War. You know how I feel about that one. So, yes, the answer is Captain America Civil War. A movie I appreciated less back in the day, and now, oh baby, I mean, I think I thought Age of Ultron was a better movie than this. Ha! That's funny. Oh my gosh, Captain America Civil War is just one of the best things I've ever seen in my entire life, which might be kind of a weird thing to say, but it's a dang good movie. Like, I feel like I should just start with the fact that it's freaking Captain America. Oh, okay, it's Captain America. And Bucky Barnes, my baby number 3, and Tony Stark, my baby number 2. Yes, I am joking around, but I got so emotional watching this. Oh my god. And by emotional, I mean yelling at the screen and at the characters. You can read my blog post about not crying. But I'm gonna be dead serious here. This movie. Wow, this movie. Dang. I don't even know where to start with this one. Yes, Iron Man 3 is coming. I'll review all the Iron Man movies. Maybe I'll just make one big Iron Man Shazam bang review. Not Shazam like the superhero, just... I should also probably review Spider-Man Homecoming, which is a meh movie in my opinion, and way overrated. Like, what the heck? Okay, seriously, going back on topic here. Major spoilers for Captain America Civil War, so for some reason you haven't seen it yet, which you should just go do right now. You should probably watch Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron to understand what's going on, but yeah. If for some reason you haven't seen Civil War, then go watch it before you watch this video, because I'm going to be going into major spoiler territory with this. Alright, we good? Okay, so first of all, this film opens with one of the most phenomenal openings. So this film opens with Bucky Barnes getting tortured by Hydra and then killing Tony Stark's parents. And at the time we don't know it's Tony Stark's parents, but you just see him on his motorcycle and he crashes a car. So this film introduces a few new characters to the Avengers roster. Pretty much all the major Avengers are in this except for Banner and Thor. This introduces a few new characters to the roster, including Prince T'Challa, aka Black Panther, who would then get his own movie, and the MCU Spider-Man, as portrayed by Tom Holland. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Tom Holland. He's a bit of an overgrown kid with kind of an annoying voice. I find him annoying, but he seems like a decent person. There are much worse people out there, so I'll give him a pass in that regard. Not a huge fan of the annoying Spider-Man, but I do think he's funny, and he's in Civil War just enough to justify it. Him getting his own movie, on the other hand, well, that'll be a different video. But yeah, in terms of Captain America Civil War, I really don't think Spider-Man affected it negatively at all. The same thing with Black Panther. In fact, I think adding T'Challa to the mix is really cool because, of course, this is King T'Chaka's death now. Yes, this is obviously a setup for the Black Panther film, but well, yeah. Such a phenomenal movie. So in terms of the main characters, there's, of course, Team Stark and Team Cap. I'm not really sure why this is called Captain America Civil War. I'm not really sure what it has to do with Captain America more than somebody like Tony Stark or any other character. It's definitely not an Iron Man film. It's probably an Avengers film. I would honestly call this Avengers Civil War, and Avengers Infinity War I would call Marvel Infinity War, because the Guardians of the Galaxy and Doctor Strange were not Avengers last time I checked. Sorry. Anyway, going back onto this, I gotta say, yes to this film. This is the best Avengers movie in my opinion. Infinity War is not really an Avengers movie, and even if you count it as one, it's still not the best Avengers movie in my opinion. This is Captain America Civil War. It's not really a Captain America movie. Captain America is a big part of this movie, as well as Tony Stark. I would say the main characters in this movie are Captain America, Tony Stark, and Bucky Barnes. And wow. This one is just epic. Of course, you've got hero on hero fighting. The fight sequences are phenomenal. The Russo brothers just nailed that so good with all the fight sequences. The airport fight sequence is amazing between the two teams. I mean, you've got a lot of interesting powers here. You've got Vision. You've got Wanda Maximoff. You've got of course, Cap and Tony. You've got Ant-Man, Spider-Man, Black Panther, War Machine, Falcon. There's a lot of Black Widow. There are a lot of Avengers on this team, and I love this about this movie. So many Avengers, and such a cool fight sequence. Now, I gotta say, one of my favorite sequences in the entire movie was the car chase in the tunnel. Oh my goodness. Of course, you got Bucky there, and you've got Captain America, and then Black Panther's in there, and my god, that's an amazing scene. The way they do the slow-mo in this sequence, I love Captain America's fighting style with his shield. It's just such a dang good time. I find it really interesting how Captain America and Tony Stark sort of take the opposite roles of what you would expect them, because Tony Stark is generally kind of not too fond of the government, stopped making weapons, and his enterprises has collided with the government more than once in the past, as we've seen in the Iron Man movies. He does not always get along very well with the government, because the government doesn't like all of his private crazy things he's doing. So it's really interesting to see Tony Stark siding with the government in this situation, and Captain America siding against the government, considering Captain America was the one who wanted to get into the army in World War II and fight for the government. And I think the reason he does this is because he's worried about Bucky, and I absolutely admire that about Captain America in this movie. I admire Captain America's loyalty to his friend. Although I will say that Captain America is still the least interesting part of the Captain America movie, which isn't a Captain America movie. Yeah, not a fan of Captain America that much. I do think he's the most interesting he's ever been in this movie and ever will be, considering it was barely in Infinity War. And I don't know what we'll see of him in Avengers 4, but it'll be his last movie. So, in terms of Captain America, this is definitely the best Cap we'll ever get. It's by far the best Captain America movie and the best Avengers movie. I know people are going to disagree with me and say Winter Soldier's a better movie. Winter Soldier is a dang good movie. I reviewed it, but parts of it felt a bit slow-paced for my taste. Captain America Civil War just keeps going and going. There's so much going on in this movie, and it doesn't sacrifice emotional stakes for action. There are plenty of movies I've seen which are just action, 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 and there's no emotion, and there's no emotional stakes here. But this movie has emotional stakes in spades. One of the best sequences in the entire MCU is the sequence at the end of this movie with Captain America and Tony fighting, and Bucky. Dang, that's awesome. I gotta say, before I get into that, I love what's going off the emotional stakes, and Helmut Zemo is a really interesting antagonist in this. Gone K Crazy, he's upset at them because of Sokovia. And his family died in Sokovia, which is a reason to be angry and upset, and I can totally see, so he's kind of pulling the strings on everything that's going on here, and really, really interesting to see. I love the part where he talks to T'Challa toward the end of the film, and I gotta say that, going back to Cap and Tony, Cap's anti-government stance is really interesting. I think it's interesting who picks teams. I think it's interesting that Vision picks Tony's team because of the law. Wanda picks Cap's team because, well, I can't really imagine Wanda liking Tony Stark after Tony Stark creating Ultron and Pietro dying in Age of Ultron. So, but in general, the teams are pretty interesting. I mean, they're pretty obvious choices, like, you know, Falcon is Captain America's friend, so he's on Captain America's side. Ant-Man is on Captain America's side for some reason, which sets up Ant-Man also. I'm not really sure where Ant-Man comes from in this movie. He's just kind of there. I mean, like, no offense to Ant-Man, but, like, okay. He's cool. I guess he makes the fight more balanced, but again, he's just kind of there. I mean, of course, you got Iron Man's side, the side of the law. And there you go with T'Challa on that side as well, and Vision, of course. And Spider-Man, which is Iron Man's recruit. I love the relationship between Tony and Peter. It's probably the best part of Peter Parker's character in this sub-franchise of the MCU. And I gotta say, these teams seem pretty well matched. You've got Black Widow on Iron Man's team as well, which is kind of interesting. She seemed to kind of mull over the decision before making up her mind. And she's not that important to the plot of this film at all. Taking a backseat to some other characters for sure, but definitely nice to have her in the movie. She still kicks ass. Her fighting style is still unique and awesome. And I gotta say, we really got a lot with her in terms of plot in Avengers and Winter Soldier, so I think it's good to give her a bit of a backseat to some other characters. So yeah, that's about all I gotta say in terms of the characters. Now, getting back to the meat of it, the main three I want to really talk about, Tony, Cap, and Bucky. Again, Cap is the least interesting of the three in my opinion, but he does have this loyalty to Bucky, which makes it interesting and great. Bucky Barnes is such an interesting character in this. I talked about this in my Winter Soldier review. He's just so quiet. He does talk a little bit more in this one, and he's trying to be on the right side and do the right thing, but he's having trouble with brainwashing, which is just, again, so interesting to see. At the end of the movie, he ends up going back under, hangs out in Wakanda, which, of course, is where he is when Infinity War happens. So, yeah, Wakanda's not a good place to be when Infinity War happens. Just FYI, don't come to Wakanda. Like, dude. But I gotta say, dang this movie. And then, of course, there's Tony Stark. And I absolutely love what's going on with Tony Stark here. I have mentioned Iron Man is my favorite Marvel hero, and Tony Stark in the MCU is just so good. Robert Downey Jr. is perfect for the role. I love Robert Downey Jr. so much in and out of the movie. He's a great person. He's done so much for charity, and he just seems like a genuinely fun guy to be around. But I'm getting off topic. This is not a love letter to Robert Downey Jr. This is the fact that he absolutely nails what they're going with Iron Man here. This goes more in depth with Iron Man's past than we've ever seen, including his parents' deaths, which, of course, Bucky killed Iron Man's parents, which is such a complex situation because Bucky didn't do it. He was under the control of Hydra. He couldn't think for himself, which is such a complex situation. There's so many moral and ethical questions brought up in this, too. Like, Wow. And that final scene where Captain America and Tony are fighting, and of course they crash down and they're on the snow, I absolutely love the part. First of all, early on it's really cool. Just want to mention, it's really cool when he has like the demonstration. You kind of see his parents, and then I love how the beginning of the movie just starts with the car, and you don't see who's in the car, and then he sees the footage. I love it how Tony sees the footage of his parents, and it's just so sad. It's just so sad. But then of course there's the part about one of my favorite parts right there. There's a really good part where Captain America says something about and you realize Tony's usually a very suave, very calm character as well, and same Captain America's kind of a leadership guy. Tony Stark is more of a comedic kind of person, but he's still very calm. Both of them don't, like, Tony can get hot-headed, but he's angry. He's never sad. You never see him, like, emotional or, like, in a way. And the part where Captain America says whatever about it wasn't him, or something about Hydra, and then Tony's like, I don't care, he killed my mom. That's just so powerful right there. And it's just to see what goes on with that. And then, of course, they all end up in jail. I mean, Team Cap all ends up in jail. All I can think of is Suicide Squad, which is not a good thing. But in terms of the movie, the part at the end with the shield and with Captain America no longer being Captain America, that's true in Infinity War. We're hopefully going to see that again. And I love the flip phone bit, of course, in Infinity War. That was so sad. He should have called Steve. But in terms of that movie, wow. There's really not much else I need to say about that movie. Captain America Civil War, far and away, probably one of the best MCU films out there, if not the best MCU film out there. I highly recommend it. Anyway, guys, if you liked this video, click like, subscribe to my channel, and turn on your notifications, and comment your opinion on Captain America Civil War. Alright, see you guys. Bye!